What up, world? It's another episode of the I'm Not Saying, I'm Just Saying podcast. We on like episode, this is technically 3, but nigga, tune in. We got a bunch of episodes.
We just
Tune in, we talk about everything. Hell yeah. So first of all, May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. Dark side Sith stand up. Bitch ass Jedi, sit your ass down. That's how I feel.
Sith Lord.
Nigga, if you not Yoda or Mace Windu, I don't want to hear what you got to say about that Jedi shit, bro. Dark side over here, Darth Maul, Vader, all that.
Yeah, we Darth Maulin over here.
Nigga. When I played Star Wars: The Force Awakens as a kid, I chopped every fucking thing down. I was ready. You ever played the game where you got to make the decisions and shit? And like you either go to the Jedi side or the Sith side. Like that came out on like PS2, PS3, I believe. Oh, nigga. When I found out that's how I went and the lightsaber turned red, I cut everybody up. I was trying to stab niggas in the stories, in the cutscenes and shit. I'm still trying to stab. Like, dark side, nigga.
Something fun
Hell
about
yeah.
being on the dark side.
Fucking right. And personally, from my perspective of the movies, them niggas was right. I ain't trying to get too political today, but if you compare Star Wars and the Jedi and Sith rift and rivalry and all of that, a lot of it has some political and some religious metaphor to it. And from what it looked like to me, the Jedi's, now let me back up. Now, while the Siths were doing the shit real crazy, they was blowing planets up, taking over, being very invasive, being very colonizer, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The Jedi's was out here trying to impose religion across the entire galaxy. They were. They don't really present it that way, but if you think about what they was really doing, them niggas was really. They was trying to make everybody follow the Force in their direction.
Yeah, that is true.
So where's the freedom that they were at least trying to give off, that they were trying to liberate people? Nah, nigga.
Yeah, because it wasn't really like a decision like, hey, if you want to use the Force, it's there. It was like, nah, if you want to defeat this, you got to use the Force. There's no other way. It's like,
yeah,
but that's not really freedom.
And they wanted them to follow their side of the Force and their beliefs. They wanted the entire government to do that.
Yeah.
Now, what does that look like in today's times? Think about it. What that look like today?
I mean, it's definitely a reflection.
Them prequels are not amazing, but the story that they tell leading into the original movies really gives me the impression that the Sith was really on to some shit, man. They just was doing it mad violent. They took the Thanos approach. Thanos wasn't necessarily wrong. Bane wasn't wrong philosophy wise. It's the shit the nigga did. It's like, oh well, damn, Thanos, you snap and kill half the people. Why you ain't just double the food, nigga?
I mean, that's how it be a lot of the times. I mean, even in the real world, there's certain things that look good on paper, like communism and things of that nature. But when you actually go to execute them, that's when it's like, okay, it looked good on paper, but when we go to execute it, it's like, wait a minute, this ain't working out right. Like a lot of people are getting affected by this in a negative way. But when we look at it on paper, it looks like it should work the way it is on paper, but the execution be so different because, you start playing into human emotions and decision making and, people's vendettas and underlying factors. Is like that stuff you can't really go by off paper. Anybody can write down a good idea, but their thought process and their motives behind that idea. You take 100 people with the same idea, all 100 people got a different motive. That's 100 different ideas, even
that's
though
like
on paper it's the same one.
facts. It's like these duo tapes, these like 2-man albums, mixtapes, and etc. Like Watch the Throne. Let me see, the Baby and Young Boy did a tape together. Just various artists, and sometimes they work out great. Sometimes they work out kind of mid. Like I didn't. This is taking it back a few years, but that Quavo and Travis Scott, that what was it called? Cactus. It wasn't called Cactus Jack. Huncho Jack, I think.
Yeah.
Mm, some mid. That was two artists that like you expect hot shit from every time. But for some reason, at least for me, there's a lot of skips. There was a lot of stuff they could have just made a single or two and got away with it. So you're right. Like a lot of ideas look good on paper. Them niggas are both talented. They're both probably, friends, whatever, what have you. And like, yo, we can make some shit and it's gonna be all right. For me, now some people might love that, but for me, man, I played that shit one time. It was good. So yeah, that's just how it goes with a lot of things that you just see on paper versus what's actually gonna happen when you put the plan to action. And it's all about execution as well. So,
like I said, it's just certain human characteristics that you can't get from the paper written version. You can't explain a person's motives when you write an idea on paper.
Mm-hmm. Like they wrote that Force Awakens movie down on paper. They wrote Justice League down on paper like a bunch of times.
They wrote the movie that shall not be named down on paper. You know what I'm talking about.
Them niggas wrote Martha on paper. DC, I'm still here. Y'all still got Amber Heard in your movies. Y'all still got Ezra Miller in your movies. And you're still streaming Batman versus Superman on HBO Max.
Really?
It's time to be responsible. Stop fucking up. Y'all letting your fans down. You letting your people down. Batman was boring as fuck. It was pretty good, but it was boring. And Doctor Strange coming this weekend. Marvel on y'all motherfucking ass forever. Like I don't think y'all niggas gonna ever catch up. Ever.
Yeah, man.
Ever. Them niggas is like the Brooklyn Nets.
It just sucks because I was always a DC fan just because of the simple fact that it's like it's just naturally a darker type of world than Marvel. Mm-hmm. And even when you look at the heroes in DC, a lot of the heroes in DC can really be villains in Marvel.
For sure.
But Superman, it's like for some for some reason it ain't translating right. I don't know what it is, but it's like bro. One thing I do see is I think they're trying to like take DC and take that dark world aspect and kind of brighten it up like Marvel, and that's not DC, but they trying to compete with Marvel because of that. Because I guess with the world Marvel got, it's more family friendly and accessible, so they can reach more outlets. But then when you look at DC, it's a little bit darker. People might. DC is not as family oriented as Marvel is.
Right.
Because like I said, it's just a darker world.
And I think that they should have stuck with darker worlds, because you look at the Dark Knight trilogy. Very dark, very also very grounded. It was very real. I know they had problems getting Christian Bale back. I know that the original idea was to make him the Batman instead of Affleck, etc. So they kind of had to make some moves and finagle to bring things together. And I think they tried to give us a realistic alien invasion or whatever, what have you, if you will, with Man of Steel. But besides the trying to make things funny for no reason, because I've never seen Batman make so many jokes like he did in that the first cut of Justice League. That shit was terrible. But besides trying to make it bright, what their problem is that they're really messing up, and a lot of people mess up in life doing this, is running a marathon like it's a race. And so when you're in a marathon, when you in anything that's like a marathon, you know what I'm saying? Anything that's your a sport that's of your pace. You can say marathon, you can say music, you can say podcast and things like that. You can't keep looking to your left or to your right to your opponent. Racing, if you win a foot race, I gotta beat you. I gotta be a head away guy to win. With a marathon, you're only trying to beat your time. And that's what's fucking DC up. These niggas is like the Cowboys, bro. These niggas like that. Matter of fact, that's what DC need to stand for. Instead of Detective Comics, they need to just say Dallas Cowboys or the Cowboys. Because what happens is they got all the heat on paper. Think about all the great stars that have played for the Dallas Cowboys. Think about all the perfect weapons they've had, whether it be on defense, whether it be their receivers, their running backs, their quarterbacks, whatever, what have you. They have had what's on paper is supposed to be the best combination ever. Bro, Superman has been the most popular superhero ever for like forever. Forever, bro. He been here since the 20s, if I'm not mistaken, 20s or 30s, something like that. Batman, iconic. When you talk about their past movies, when you talk about the Christopher Reeves movies, when you talk about Batman with the Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer joints, even George Clooney's weird bat nipples and shit, all that weird ass shit. I hate that shit. I fucking hate it. I hate those
Yeah,
movies.
I don't know why they put the nipples on there.
Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. I fucking hate those movies. I do like the Joker. I mean, not Joker.
Although I will say those
Riddler
movies you
from that
just
movie.
named probably had the best soundtracks though.
Yeah, but that's because in the 90s, bro, I think that the 90s had the best soundtracks, period. There's not like until Black Panther, what's the last soundtrack you liked? Probably Space Jam, nigga. Soundtracks was the shit back in the day. Like you go back and you go back and listen to the Above the Rim soundtrack. Like I said, Space Jam, Bad Boys, even Bad Boys 2 had a hard soundtrack. Like that might have been one of the closer to later ones, but it's still like 2002, 2003. And people haven't really put a lot of effort into a soundtrack ensemble in a while, even though, like I said, the Black Panther project, Kendrick executive produced that, and you got hella artists on there that's killing it. Mostly West Coast artists. I like the way he built that. I still think that All the Stars song, I don't know if it won a Grammy, but that SZA and Kendrick song should have won a Grammy or something. That shit is amazing.
Was hard.
That was one of my favorite songs of that time, and I still play that to this day. The Spider-Man soundtrack, what was it? The Into the Spider-Verse, that had a solid soundtrack with I remember Jaden Smith was on there, and maybe Post Malone. There was a few artists on there, a few new guys, and it was up to date. It was fresh. I remember they tried that with the Michael Bay Ninja Turtles, and I love Wiz Khalifa. I love Ty Dolla $ign. I love Juicy J. But that song they had for that, I don't remember how it went, but that was not it. It was a ninja rap. Vanilla Ice finally got somebody.
Go Ninja, you don't want to put. Ninja, go.
You don't want to put. You don't. I'm a constantly throughout this show speak of niggas that you don't want to do verses with, and if it's a one-on-one soundtrack battle, unless you're gonna bring R. Kelly, I Believe I Can Fly out. It ain't too many people that want to play with the kids' movie soundtracks anyway. Nobody want to really play with Vanilla Ice like that. If we doing one-on-ones, Go Ninja Go gonna get a lot of shit away. Also that Maya and Blackstreet, Take Me There, Wanna Go There, that Rugrat shit.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah, we're
man,
gonna.
that's a throwback.
Hey, I think we're gonna put a list together later, bro. We're gonna do that. So we're gonna do a
He said a
soundtrack versus.
throwback.
We're gonna do a soundtrack versus, bro. We're gonna get my nigga Rudy in here or
Hey,
something.
that's a
We're gonna
good
all do a
idea right
soundtrack versus,
there.
bro.
That's a good idea,
Yeah,
right? The
I got
soundtrack
a,
versus.
yeah, nigga. I got a few in the tuck for your ass, bro.
Hey,
You know me.
That Rugrats gonna give some people a run for their money though. That was
Hey
hard.
man, hey nigga. That Rugrats soundtrack had Busta Rhymes on that shit, and a lot of people. I'm telling you, 90s soundtracks get everything the fuck out of here, bro. Like there hasn't been anything in today's time. But somebody correct me in the comments or something. Somebody let me know. But
Well,
soundtracks
I
of
think what
today,
might have happened from the
yeah,
90s is that after the 90s, a lot of video games took over the soundtrack scene. Because there's
true,
some games out
true.
there, true, that got good soundtracks, but they kind of came later, like in the 2000s. But there's
Yeah,
like the focus shifted from movie soundtracks to video game soundtracks, and video game soundtracks just started taking off.
yeah, and you're right about that because I'll tell you this, gaming, and I'm pretty sure there's a bajillion arguments of which one's better or not, but gaming wise, I'm gonna pick 2K over Madden all the time, and it's not even necessarily my NFL, my feelings towards the NFL or anything like that. It's just the gameplay. But you can talk about soundtracks, like over the years. I think nowadays 2K doing a little bit more on their soundtracks than
Mm-hmm.
Madden. But if you want to just go all time, and we can even just start from 2000 up, because I think the first 2K came out in 2000. We can start from 2000 up to today. It's 22 years.
But you know, 2K
Madden
focuses
giving y'all
more
niggas
on the
some
hip
work.
hop and the pop scene, though Madden focuses more on the rock bands and the country artists, and
Yeah,
so it's
but
really like two different sets of music. You rarely, I mean, you hear rap on Madden, but not like how you hear it on basketball
you
games.
you don't. But back in the day, though, it was a little more blended. Now I haven't played
Yeah.
Madden in a few years, to be honest, so it might probably be a little more rock, especially when you look at. I don't know how much has transpired because of and been a lot of news on that, but it might have been a lot of rappers and R&B singers. There's a lot of little black artists that may have kind of backed away from Madden during the Kaepernick situations, the kneeling. A lot of them might have backed away, and that's why we're getting more rock and country. But I know at one time that was a place to go if you wanted to hear some heat. Was a Madden soundtrack as well as
Yeah,
I
most
mean,
definitely.
Grand Theft Auto, of course, especially GTA 5.
Yeah,
I really
Grand
appreciated.
Theft Auto really, really took it off. Like a lot of
Yeah.
games was doing the soundtracks, but then like I guess because with GTA, it was an in-game thing too. So it's like their
Hmm.
soundtracks kind of like you didn't hear Madden and 2K. I mean, sometime during the gameplay, but like with GTA, it was a part of the soundtrack was a
Yeah.
part of the game.
Yeah. And I would say, especially GTA 5, like it was dope hearing artists that grew up on GTA on the soundtrack. Like I thought that was cool listening to like J Rock and Ab Soul, for example, on GTA. Because
Mm-hmm.
you gotta think like these niggas our age, maybe a little older, but they our age, bro. So these niggas grew up playing San Andreas and the other games.
Yeah.
And now you looking at like, well shit, I'm on that motherfucker now. Like that's major. That's
But
major to
see,
me.
the thing between the video games and the movies also, the video game soundtracks was breaking artists. Whereas with
Hmm.
the movie soundtracks, they were more chasing artists that were already established. So like when you
Yeah.
hear a movie soundtrack, 9 times out of 10, you hearing an artist that's been out doing their thing for a while. But when you listen to the video game soundtracks, you'll come across something like, wait a minute, who is this? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They was
And
breaking
and
artists on the video games.
I guess it depends on your taste too, because sometimes I want to hear a breaking artist, whether it's on a movie, a soundtrack, a video game, or just on the radio. I want to hear new artists, but at the same time, I was what 8, but I remember picking that damn Space Jam CD up in Walmart or wherever, flipping on the back and seeing uh Monica, and then hearing that Cross the Ocean song. I will cross the ocean for you. For you, I will. That's how it goes. That's the name of the song. Bruh. Hey, look, man, for the record, fuck R. Kelly, but I don't think nobody fucking with that Space Jam soundtrack, bro. I really want to take the time to look at that and
It was some heaters.
do some 1v1s with Space Jam and Black Panther and a few other good movie soundtrack Above the Rim. I got to do some digging, bro. We're gonna put that together because yeah,
we
man.
need a soundtrack versus.
yeah, that's gonna be lit.
That is a good idea.
That's gonna be lit as fuck. But back on that Star Wars though, hey, I know you watched Boba Fett.
I watched like 3-4 episodes of it.
Yeah.
Because it kind of started losing me. I don't know, man. I just remember a different Boba Fett. It's like, I don't know. It's like they tried to soften him up in the show. I don't know, man. It's like I was watching it, and by the time after the 3rd episode, it was starting to lose me a little bit.
Yeah, I think I think what they were aiming for was a way to try to humanize Boba Fett or something. And he was a lot more mysterious in the old movies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I don't think they should have did that to him right after they dropped the Mandalorian, because that shit was hard.
Yeah,
and you expected Boba Fett to kind of like play off of that, but then it was like, dude, we just watched the Mandalorian, and then y'all doing, I don't know, this Boba Fett just ain't hitting the same. Like,
I feel like they should have did the reverse. They should have gave us Boba Fett first, and then Mandalorian next. The Mandalorian set a certain tone, and Boba Fett. Well, I like the story. Like I watched the whole series. I thought it was good, but I'm a fan of Boba Fett, but I'm also good with that being like a one-off. And then he just features in the Mandalorian because the best episode or episodes is, I think, maybe around episode 4 or something like that when the Mandalorian shows up.
Yeah,
I don't know if you got that far, but when the Mandalorian actually shows up, the rest of the series gets more what I feel like people were expecting. So it's like really like they kind of did it where they should have just had more Mandalorian probably and let Boba be more of a feature. But I like what they did, and I like that they brought Ming Na Wen in, aka Agent May, aka the OG Chun Li. I fuss with Ming Na Wen. She one of the best actors out here, actresses. Like we really gotta, hold her up and keep rocking with her shit because I really fuck with Ming Na. Yeah. Like she's the best character on Shield. In my opinion, Agent May was always the shit. So she really brought that same kind of character to this show. And
yeah, I
fuck
like
with
her.
I want to see her come back and like in Marvel in some capacity. I want to see Coulson. What was her name? I want to see Coulson, May, Quake, Fitz, and Simmons, and my nigga Matt. Yeah. I want to see the big 5 against the starting 5 of the Shield. People come back in some capacity in Marvel. That'll be fucking dope. I'm ready for this Obi-Wan show too. Even though Obi-Wan a bitch ass nigga, I like this. No, I'm serious. Obi-Wan the reason I don't like Jedi's, bro. He's the reason. It ain't Qui-Gon, even though fuck Liam Neeson, because I feel like that nigga was doing some real taking shit in Star Wars too, if you really start really looking at it. Like he was really
that movie did come out around the same time though.
With Taken?
Didn't he do that like after he did?
Taken. Nah. Star Wars came out in like 2000, 2001, and then Taken was more like 2010 or after. It was in the 10s.
Oh damn, it's that newer. I swear I thought Taken was older than that. It might have been him setting up to do that movie then. Damn, Taken was older than that.
Oh yeah, Obi Wan a bitch ass nigga. Yeah, I can't really get into that. Like Obi Wan's reason I don't rock with Jedi's like that, like real shit. I mean, the nigga was just hiding in the bushes and in the mountains forever, watching Luke grow up. There's all kind of crazy shit. What was you just spying on this man? You weren't even really helping this kid to begin with. You damn near let Leia die. She was out there kidnapped. And this dude was with the powers the whole time. They could have really got a lot of shit done. On top of the fact, he's the one that got the Jazz killed in the first place. Running back. Think about it. Yoda and Mace Windu. Niggas I mentioned was the real niggas of the Jedi earlier. I mentioned these two real niggas earlier. The only real niggas in the Jedi. And Luke.
Especially Mace.
Yeah, thank you. The real motherfucker of the universe. So these two niggas said, do not train that boy. He too old and he crazy. They said, look, man, there's some movies that came out in the 70s about a nigga in a black suit fucking people up, and I think this is gonna be him. That's basically what they was telling him. Like, don't do it, nigga. Don't train this dude. What happened instead? He did it. He did it. Obi Wan was going around here saying he was ready to be a Jedi. He's ready to lead the training. Qui-Gon had to co-sign for him because he didn't want to make his homeboy look stupid. But he knew Obi Wan wasn't ready. He co-signed anyway. What happened? They broke him from the training. My man Darth Maul came out here, fucked Qui-Gon up. Obi-Wan got lucky and killed Darth Maul, or thought he killed Darth Maul, but you've seen that more shit happens later in the shows, the movies and shit. I think Maul's getting a TV show on Disney Plus at some point, I heard. So
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I would fucking love that. That nigga made the whole like beginning trilogy actually hot. The double lightsaber is still the hardest shit.
Yeah, Darth Maul really came along and like, oh no, ever since he came, that was my guy. Like,
bro,
yo, this is an interesting character.
My man fought a whole 2-on-1 and was parkouring and doing like gymnastics. Like the nigga was back flipping, front flipping with no hands, swinging a double lightsaber. Pause. He was just beating niggas' ass, bro. And what happened? He wound up killing Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon didn't say all this and that, trying to pump Obi-Wan head up. They probably might have still been alive today. They wouldn't have wound up training Anakin, and Darth Vader wouldn't have killed all the Jedi. Also, just in case you don't want to connect that, it's just one singularity that made that shit happen. That nigga, Jar Jar Binks, who I fucking hate from the prequels. Jar Jar Binks is the one who wound up voting to get the Chancellor, aka the Emperor, into power. And who saved Jar Jar Binks' life? Obi-Wan Kenobi. I can do this all day. The Jedi's ain't shit, and it's Obi-Wan's fault. All them niggas is dead because of Obi-Wan. You can't tap it nobody else but Obi-Wan and Liam Neeson. And we already knew Liam Neeson was going to lose his people. We knew that. This was the beginning stages of him losing family. They can't find them. Doing crazy shit. I've seen it where he's apparently got another movie that's just like Taken-ish again. It's like, bro, look, do something else. I'll be real. Like Liam Neeson's thrown me all the way off between doing the same movies over and over again. He's becoming an overglorified Nicolas Cage. I appreciate Nicolas Cage because he's funny, bro. A lot of people rank on Nicolas Cage like that, but bruh, he doing the same movies over and over, or the same character over and over again. But Liam Neeson has been put on this high pedestal like he the shit, but he ain't really doing all that. So, all right, which one's better? But you look at it, you've got all these whack-ass Jedis who led to their own demise, and Darth Maul's still floating around out here in the movies. He's somewhere in the back shadows. They're gonna bring my nigga back, bro. So yeah,
I hope so.
Hell yeah, bro. I'm ready to see that, man. I want them to do something, um, something a little more like what they did with the Mandalorian in their TV shows and movies. I feel like the new trilogy was okay. It wasn't terrible, but it was too cookie cutter. Like they were just trying to get a new audience in instead of making a new story. So I think it's time that what Disney does is build more off of what it is and make better movies, bro. Like make better TV shows. Like they're really handling Marvel well, but I still think that they're
Yeah.
kind of figuring out Star Wars. They ain't fumbling it as bad as DC. Well, Warner Brothers with DC, they ain't fumbling that hard, but they toppling with it a little bit,
Yeah.
bro. That's what it is to
But it
me.
still shows you how put together they are, though, that even when they got their own issues, they still miles ahead of
Right.
what else is going
Hmm.
on. Because even with this Moon Knight series, it's like, I like it, but I thought we would be getting more Moon Knight, which I get what they doing. They basically just building the story and getting people accustomed who ain't, really know about Moon Knight and the whole Egyptian theme they got
Yeah.
going. But it's like you really ain't getting a lot of Moon Knight right now. It's
Yeah, and
really
it's
more just,
yeah. I'm
but
starting
it
to have a
ain't
problem.
terrible though. It ain't
No,
terrible.
it's not.
I would say that.
There's nothing terrible about that show. My problem is that we're getting too many. Let's build the story for 5 episodes, but we only gonna give you 6 episodes, and that's starting to happen a
Mhm.
little bit too much with in Marvel. I say that's becoming a thing with them right now, and maybe just in Disney because you can say the same thing about Boba Fett. So I think that there's a lot of just building that up. Like let's get you so into the show. Just think about Loki. Now, Loki took a little minute, but they built it for about 2 or 3 episodes and then gave you something crazy.
Mhm.
The Falcon Winter Soldier, so similar. WandaVision, I thought that was the best one they did, even though a lot of people complained about story building with that one. But when you look at this particular Moon Knight, and we 5 episodes in and still don't even really understand what the fuck is going on. So you look at the new episode dropping tonight, definitely excited about that. But if you look at how it's built, like what are y'all gonna tell us in that last hour or last 45 minutes or whatever that's gonna
Mhm.
expand it to the rest of the MCU like the rest of the project do? Or even just tell us more about Moon Knight. Like I'm really confused, but I'm excited though.